Hey everybody, and welcome to another electric van man review. Today the Chinese are coming. Yes, the new offering from parent company Geely is the brand Farizon, focused all on commercial vehicles. Big in China, but will they make it in the UK? Well, let's go and find out. So the Farizon SV is the latest offering. I really quite like the looks of this vehicle. The front end of the vehicle is quite striking, and I love the little logo here. Now this is made up of U, T and zero. So user, technology and zero emission. Now that is great news because there is a focus for me on the person behind the wheel. That's good news. The technology that's going to make a difference and help us go forward. And of course, the zero for zero emission at the tailpipe, which is great for local air quality and the climate. Fabulous. So, but as you know, it's not just about the looks of the vehicle that are important. Of course, for you, it's all about the practicality. You know me, even though I focus on that electric vehicle credentials, it's got to be fit for a purpose in your business. So let's go and see all the practical stats about this vehicle. So practicality is key as always, and I always start here at the side door. Now this door is 1.3 meters wide. That's really strong, and it's probably just about by 2 millimeters the widest opening in the market, and even the standard L1 H1 has a full meter capacity sideways on the door. So one important thing to know as the rain comes down is that we're missing something. Missing a B pillar. Now the question is, why are we missing a B pillar? Because there's a vast opening, 2.1 meters in fact, which is great, but we can't really fully utilize it because we've got a fixed bulkhead. But for those of you that will be paying very close attention, you might spot a seam down the side there. Now that seam seems to allow us to maybe move it. Certainly in China there is a sliding option. So it's quite possible that in the very near future we will see something that allows us to maximize the use of this space. And we're quite creative with our conversions here in the UK. And I can see how if we can move this to a single seat and create a nice opening space here, we can have a really increased functionality for this area of the vehicle. So in terms of that structural integrity, this vehicle is platinum rated from like a NCAP rating, that's the one. So in a crash, it is absolutely supremely good. The B pillar integrity from that side impact as you're driving along, a lot of it is in here, and you can see very robust hinges at top and bottom. Also the seat belt is housed in there for your passengers. So every box is ticked and you don't need to worry around the structural integrity or the usability of this without the B pillar. The load height for me is pretty good. It's at just 550 centimeters. The batteries, of course, under here. We'll come on to batteries and electric stuff in a bit. But what about the capacities then of this vehicle? Well, from a weight perspective, you can get up to 1,350 kilos on this baby. And the testing that we've done around the Millbrook circuit here in Bedfordshire has been done with weight inside. So that gave a really good driving experience for us. But up to 1,350 kilos, all at 3.5 ton. Now, if you've heard me talk about this before, the 4.25 ton legislation and all that sort of malarkey, well, at 3.5 tons, you're getting a very decent payload. So that's good news. Let's go and check out the cubic capacity. So before we dive in the back here, let's have a quick think about what the rear of this van looks like. I like the fact that these lights are up out of the way, so when idiots drive into the back of you, you're not getting these damaged, which cuts down costs. Quite like this plastic line across the back gives it a bit of personality and character. And importantly, right in here, there is a good 360-degree camera that gives great all-round vision. So when you're reversing, you can see exactly what you're doing. But on the camera front, it just gets better. We'll come on to that. Let's get in the back here. First of all, the door straps hold the vehicle nice and securely, and you've got great opening, which can then open out to the 180 degrees nice and easily. Cubic capacity wise, we start at 6.95 cubic meters and then go all the way up to 13 cubic meters with the L3 and H3 version. It's not too bad in terms of getting in and out of the back here, but I'd like to see a door handle somewhere, and there isn't one at the moment. It's not a difficult job. You can easily get one fixed, but I would have liked to have seen it, and maybe getting in and out of the back might need a step. We've got parking sensors at the back here and all of that good stuff, and of course with the camera we should be in really safe hands. But a nice, clean, square load space suits me just fine. Plenty of room between the wheel arches, and actually the finish at the sides and the lower half, that's wise to stop those in and out bangs. It feels nicely finished, especially with the floors. Plenty of tie hooks and everything to keep your goods secure in the back. Can't ask for any more than that. So one of the elements that the feedback that we've had is these 270-degree doors. Well, the good news is those are available. You just specify them from the factory and that will go all the way around. So that's great as well. So whether you're loading up against something or you've got multiple vehicles in a row, you can get these nice and tight and maximize your space available. One thing to point out is that when you're trying to shut the door, the straps automatically get caught in here and you need to lift them so that you can shut the door properly. So Farizon plan to come with 4 years warranty, 120,000 miles on these vehicles. Service intervals of a year or 18,000 miles, whichever is first. And they expect to sell quite a lot of them. Now, feedback from fleets is always key, because the fleets tend to be the people that are going to buy these in any kind of numbers first. And what we've heard so far is this is a well-built, well-planted vehicle, and the driving is the believing. So we're going to consider the electric values, and then we're going to go for a drive. So I always come to the charge point to consider the electric credentials, because this is what's different, isn't it? We've got to plug things in. Well, you can see two plugs here. The top one is for your standard AC charge, and that will charge at 11 kilowatts an hour. You've got 3 battery sizes, so 11s into 68 go just over 6, 11s into 88 go 8. I think. Yes, does his maths really quickly. Yeah, 8 hours. And then there is a bigger battery, 106 kilowatt hours. And of course, that's nearly 11 or thereabouts. 10 and a half. 10 even, just slightly less. Dear me, math day, not a good one. But anyway, they do charge pretty quickly. The DC charging, which is your rapid charging when you're out in the public domain, will take from 20 to 80% in around 30 minutes. So that's pretty quick and allows you, if you're stopped for some lunch or a coffee and a wee or whatever it is, you're getting a decent charge into the vehicle. So those 3 battery sizes will take you a variety of distances, and under the WLTP they reckon around 247 miles is the best that you can expect. What I'm pretty confident of is that we will get over 200 miles of range, depending on the weather. Of course, today is not so great and it is quite cold, hence the gloves. And that means that you get a little bit less. But even in those circumstances, I'm pretty confident this is going to go a long way. We will do a proper test on that and give you the facts. But distance shouldn't be a challenge. The good news is though, you can precondition this vehicle, so even on a colder day, you're going to be able to maximize the use of the battery. Look, nice, really wide opening doors, so you're never going to have a problem getting in and out, albeit that they will, you do need to be aware of that they're going to go all the way out. Once behind the wheel, it is a nice place to be. Everything's kind of where you expect it to be, and there's plenty of space to get even the tallest of people in this. I will say though that the adjustments for the steering wheel, which go up and down, don't come forward and back. That's kind of a little bit of a challenge, because when you're comfortable there, maybe your arms are a little bit too far, but maybe there'll be a solution. What I've really enjoyed in getting to know the people from Farizon is that they have a Kaizen approach to engineering. So get something out there that people can experience and feel and touch and use, and then understand the areas that need development. So they're already thinking, what do we need to do to make this vehicle better? And that's good news. And there's one area to make it a little bit better. So for the video, I'm going to say, I'm going to go and drive now. But of course, in good, true Blue Peter fashion, I've already done that. So I won't have my coat on, and I'll be driving around in relatively sunny conditions. Not like now, that's for sure. But anyway, let's go drive. So here we go then. We're off in the Farizon SV. This vehicle, not loaded with weight, so this will be my first experience. What I really like is the fact that I can just scroll through a menu here, as you can hear, and I can see how much weight, the gross vehicle weight for this vehicle at the moment is 2,520 kilos. I can tell that, and if somebody gets on, it goes up and tells me exactly what my weight is. That bit I love. And of course you get that immediate pull away with this vehicle, and it feels already very responsive. I'm not sure of the brake horsepower, we'll have to get that and pop it in the graphics. And off we go, we're rolling. The Millbrook circuit is one I've become quite familiar with, and we're heading to the hill circuit now to get a feel for how this vehicle performs on a variety of different road types and also gradients. I'm going to go over the bumpy bits, and you can probably hear that, but the good news is that it isn't bouncing around. It does seem to manage those bumps really quite well. Going into the hill circuit across some of the tighter bends, it does feel very stable on the road. One of my favorite bits of climb here in the hill circuit, an 11.6% gradient, which this vehicle just flies up. Now, of course, we've got variable regen 1, 2 and 3, and whilst in driving mode and going straight, I can switch to the highest level of one pedal driving, where it is almost stopping the vehicle, even going down a very steep hill. Quick step onto the accelerator and you get an immediate response. And partly responsible for that immediate response is, of course, drive-by-wire technology. So this, of course, means that the minute you touch the accelerator, you're getting an instant response from the electronic signals that are sending the messages through to the motors. I do love running around this circuit. It is just so much fun. It's quite challenging in places, but really does test the vehicles, especially going through the corners and giving it a little bit of welly and using all of the road. What a lot of fun. As with all modern vehicles, there is a lot of beeping if you go over the speed limit, if you go over the central white lines. there are lots of functionality to keep you safe. Right, I'm gonna give it a chance to show me what it's got. We're into sport mode and full beans up the hill, and oh my goodness me, that had everything that you wouldn't want your fleet team, your fleet drivers to be experiencing. The responsiveness is quite out there on the sport mode. So I think I'm going to switch it to eco mode. Into eco mode, and probably a more sensible, sedate drive. So we're heading out onto the high speed bowl. We'll see what this vehicle's like at speeds of up to 70 miles an hour or so. The mirrors are good as you pull out onto what is a multi-lane circuit, and there's blind spot assist to help you as you move up through the lanes in case somebody was going to be close beside you. So we're going to get up to what is the maximum speed. I'm in eco mode at the moment, which might restrict my top speed, but it doesn't seem to at the minute. So we've reached 75 miles an hour, and of course that's over the national speed limit, which is why the vehicle's beeping at me a little bit. So it is nice and solid on the road, and there's minimal wind noise. I'm not getting really any significant noise from the wing mirrors, which is where I would perhaps expect it to come from. There has been considerable focus on the driver in the design and build of this vehicle. I feel very comfortable. There is a good amount of space for me. I'm not particularly tall, 5'10", so I'm comfortable in the vehicle. I do kind of wish that the steering wheel would move towards me a little bit. I've got adjustment up and down, but not forward and back. To sum up my first drive, I'm pretty impressed. It feels like a vehicle that's going to do a really good job. There's certainly nothing in this experience to put anybody off or to make anybody think, no, I don't want one of those Chinese rubbish. Absolutely not. This has got 20% market share in China and segment leader for a very, very good reason. And that's because it does what it needs to meet the needs of the van driving public. Great reversing camera as I'm pulling into the space, and the audible reversing noise to alert anybody passing by. But that's really good because it's important when you're getting out of a vehicle or reversing out, because the charging port is at the front, of course. If you're reversing, which we'll have to do a lot of, you'll be able to see that, and you've got a great 360 view as well. So seeing all around the vehicle, make sure that you're kept as safe as you can be, and that drivers won't have those accidental bumps. So what about the fit and finish here as a driver? Well, I like the fact that we've still got some switches. We seem to be losing the ability to switch things, but we've got all of that here. We've got air conditioning, we've got the heated front windscreen, which is a great addition. Heating the front windscreen is always a winner in my book, particularly on those frosty days. We've got some switch gear here which adjusts the temperatures and the fan speeds. I'm not sure that these are particularly robust, and I wonder if they might just come under a bit of duress at some point. But the switches are handy, and a nice big digital dashboard, if you like, an infotainment system which you can navigate to switch noises off. The noises that come as you're drifting out into the center of the road, or you're going over the speed, or doing different things, you can switch all of those off for those longer journeys. But I think they are handy as you go around your daily duties. You can see the radio. You've got Apple CarPlay or CarLink for the Android versions, and of course you can pair your phone. This has everything that you could possibly need. And there's also a really handy indication right here in the dashboard that says if you have too much weight in your vehicle. It gives you a really good indication. Now there is a tolerance, but there's a good clear indication that if you're at 3,400 kilos, you've got to be thinking exactly, am I going to go overweight? And it helps. A couple of other things while we're here. We haven't got a workspace on the front passenger seat. That, I think, is going to be something that the fleets are going to be keen for. But even when you're working and you're a jobbing builder or you're a plumber or an electrician, you're going to want to complete your paperwork maybe while you're charging. This is a great little function on many other competitor options, not here. But again, reassured when we've given that feedback that actually it's probably going to be around. The other thing I've noticed is that cup holders are at a premium. This is the only cup holder. I'm not sure how fixed and firm that feels, but there is space here, but it doesn't actually fit UK cups. So I imagine that they're going to come up with a solution to fix both the sort of rigidity of it, but also the space for a cup. Because we love our cups of coffee here, don't we? Get them in there and get them safe and secure. Another small point is that there's a nice little cubby here for your phone, and you can plug it into either a USB-C or a standard USB and then shut that up and forget about it, because you've got everything that you would need from your phone on the dashboard. And of course it removes that temptation to be playing around with it. We've also got everything that we would expect here on the steering wheel. We've got the controls for the volume, the phone. We've got adaptive cruise control, which is my favorite thing as we are tracking the traffic in front. It means that I stay an appropriate distance away from it. And also intelligent cruise control, which will spot the speed signs and get me to the right speed. That's brilliant, because I don't want to have to think too much as I'm driving. But anyway, everything that we need right there at our fingertips. So as you saw, the drive was amazing and it just performs so well on the road. But as you can see, we've bailed from outside. It's time to come inside in the warm and the dry, and why wouldn't we? So we've got a number of vehicles in here, and I've got a few last things that I just want to cover so that you know everything that you need to know in order to make a decision. So first things first, come with me into the cab. The seat. I haven't talked enough about the seat because there's a couple of functions that are on this seat which make life really comfortable, whether winter or summer. Yes, it's got that lovely bum warmer. We love getting our bottom warmed in the winter, but even better, it's also got ventilation and cooling for those hot summer days. So after a day's work, you're jumping in the van all hot and sweaty, you can cool down. In the winter, we've got a nice heated steering wheel as well. And all of that is functioned through the infotainment display over there. So why don't you come on round and let's look through that. So the heated steering wheel is accessed by the touch of a button there, nicely lit up so that you know that it's on. And if you want your seat heating or seat ventilation, you just select the correct one, and then you can have low, medium or high. I like to just put it on, give it a blast at the beginning and then go for low. And then the same with the seat ventilation. And as you're sitting in the seat, that's got to be a great feeling just to cool you down on a hot day. So another function I really like, which I think if you're in a tight spot is going to really make a difference. You've got a 360 camera, so you can select whichever side of the vehicle, the rear of the vehicle or the front of the vehicle, and see all your surroundings. Alternatively, you can select 3D and then just scroll to the view that you want. I think that makes a lot of sense just for those occasional times when you really are wanting to know exactly where to put the van. So the great thing about being at events like this, where there's vehicles everywhere, is that we get to see a little bit of behind the scenes, the inner gubbins of an electric vehicle, because sometimes we haven't seen them. But not a lot to see there, but it's nice and easy. One of the things I do like is that this area moves out of the way when the bonnet can stay in place. This is just really for maintenance work, but these are all accessible, nice and easy at the touch of a button. So the final thing that I wanted us to know about was the importance of towing. Now, this vehicle is equipped to tow. A lot of vehicles historically have not been able to tow, but 2,000 kilos is the capacity, and that is enough for most use cases. So it's great to know that they really are trying to think of everything to make it as easy as possible for you to go electric. So that has been a tour of the Farizon SV, a van that is born electric, that is full of technology, that has the user at the heart, and is, of course, zero emission. I've got to say, with everything that surrounds this van, like a growing dealer network, the thought about the after sales, and really solid warranty at 4 years and 120,000 miles, this is a vehicle that needs to be on your shopping list. Have a great day, everybody.